Next we have Zhiyuan Yao about metallicity effects and shattering.
Thank you. I'm Zhiyuan Yao from the University of Brooklyn. In this talk, I will take you on a journey of cold gas dynamics, basically about shattering and oscillation. For those who have not heard these two words, you can take them as the fragmentation and merger. So what we call shattering. So before 2018, proposed new hierarchical channel for the evolution of thermal unstable gas. If the gas size is much larger, if large is very large, so that the cooling time scale is much shorter than some crossing time scale. Previously, people think that the gas might cool hypercarically in a cooling time scale and then contract to a single giant pump to regain the pressure equilibrium. Of course, proposed another channel that he supposed that to regain the pressure equilibrium, it is much faster if the clump fragment during the cooling. And this is very similar to the Zhiyuan instability, and the clump fragments until the size is around the CSC core. So he called this process the shattering. And he performed the 2D simulation, and he defined the shattering in simulation if the L, if the size is larger than the CSC core. So people then called the minimum CSC core the shattering length scale. And so if the size is close to the shattering length scale, then it's a single clump, but if it's larger, then if it's somewhat unstable, then it can cool and shatter. But this hierarchical fragmentation process has not been found by the follow-up research. Instead, it found that this shattering actually comes from the thermal unbalance after the gas cools hypercarically, and which drives the implosion and explosion of the gas. So because of the pressure unbalance and the pressure outside the hot in the hot medium is much higher than the cold gas, this drives the inward shock and bounce back. And when the reverse shock, reflective shock hits the cold interface, it can drive instability called the Ritmeyer mesh instability from the misalignment between the pressure gradient and density. And then this kind of instability will drive the vorticity and also mushroom-like structure, very similar to the relative instability in the weak shock. So the amplitude of this perturbation saturates and enters the non-linear regime. The cold gas will fragment and break apart. So this is so we still call this shattering, but bear in mind that the picture has changed. Zhiyuan in 2020 studied the thermal unstable cloud in a 3D simulation, and he found there are two criterion for the shattering. One is the size to be much larger than tracking length scale, and also the initial cloud temperature to be at least 2 times the temperature floor. Moreover, they found that even if the cloud shatters in the beginning, and quickly coagulate or merge in some crossing time scale. So this is studied in more detail in their 2022 paper that the clump can merge together. They found there's a critical overdensity, which is around 300. If the overdensity between the clump and the background is low, then the clump can merge very quickly. But if it's higher than this threshold, then it can remain shattered. So it puts a third criterion for the clump to remain shattering, the size overdensity be larger than the threshold. And here I briefly talk about why the clump merge or coagulate. This is our idea from their 2022 paper. So given there's two clumps on cloud 1 and cloud 2, and there's some, because of the cooling at the surface of the clump 1, it drives the entrainment. And we can estimate the force onto the clump 2 is composed of two terms. the mv dot and m dot v. The first term is actually the driving force, and the second term is the condensation force because of the momentum exchange. So it can easily show that the second force is larger than the first one because of the v hot is smaller than v mix by definition. But c is always larger than the about 1 radius. So we can ignore the driving force and then focus on the condensation force and put the v hot into this condensation force. We can have the calculation force in this formula. By looking at this formula, it's very familiar to us because we can make analogy to gravity. Here between the g and here the rho v mix square over 4 pi and the mass between the mass and the area. So given this similarity between calculation force and the gravity, we would expect that the geometry would play an important role here, just like the gravity from the sheet is different from the streams and from the sphere. So, but why do we care about the geometry? So this morning, Nir mentioned when there is a pressure contrast of around 20 when the stream penetrates the river shock, and this pressure contrast likely cause the shattering if the stream behavior is similar to sphere, as mentioned before. And also the Zhiyuan talked in the morning about the shattering in the sheet as well. So that's why we care about the geometry. And also if the stream really shatters when it penetrates the real shock and in the CGM, then it would help to explain the logical interactions and clumpiness at high-risk galaxies as observed by the loophole and we call their groups. So as the first step, we want to make the problem as clean as possible. So we don't consider the shear and the real shock. We just focus on the geometry and the metallicity effect. And here I show the two movies. It's a projection, and the left one is a low overdensity, and the right one is high overdensity. So basically, I changed the background density. And the top are the edge-on view of the stream, and this is the face-on view of the stream. And these streams are somewhat unstable, so they will cool quickly, and then will contract and rebound. So play the movie, you can see that the first it contracts quickly, and then it fragments in both cases. But for the left one, it coagulates very fast and will be a coherent filament. But for the right one, the clumps remain shattering at larger distance until the end of the cycle. So the first thing we explore is the explosion velocity of the cold gas, because this will determine the spectral distribution, how far the clumps can reach. And here I show this is the pressure, and here this is the radial velocity profile for the sheet streams and spheres. So this column, the first column is when the central pressure reaches the peak, which is basically during the peak of phases of the contraction, and the second column is when the pressure regains equilibrium, and the velocity reaches peak. So we found that this explosion velocity is very close to downstream flow gas for the streams and spheres, but it's less for the sheet. So how can we explain this? We found the intuitive explanation that this explosion velocity comes from the internal energy when it's stored during the implosion. So this can be written in this formula, and assuming that all the internal energy convert to the kinetic energy, then we can get the downstream flow gas for these cases. But because of the shift on the pressure overshoot is small, so the explosion velocity is much lower than something. Okay, so during the explosion, because of the Riemann mesh cup instability I mentioned before, the clumps flow gas fragment. And here on the left, I show the number of clumps in different geometries, and on the right, I showed the Dmax is the maximum distance the clump reach with some time. So the thicker line shows higher density over density, and so the first message is higher over density can have a higher number of clumps, and the second is the spheres seem to have a stronger shattering than the streams than the sheets, and especially it's more obvious from this plot from the Dmax because we can define the two groups. One is a coagulation group and one is shattering group. The coagulation one, the clump will fall back, and for the shattering one, the clump will remain at the end of the clump. So for the streams, it behaves similar as the spheres, but for the sheets, it seems to coagulate in all the over densities. So why is that? This requires us to study the coagulation force in different geometries. We found that it is the geometrical effect is controlled by one parameter called SA, and this changes in different geometries. So here, the A total is the total area within D, and the lambda is the total surface area with line within per unit length, and this is the total surface area in the unit surface. And we can also estimate the coagulation time scale similar to the free-body time scale. And basically, the higher SA have a higher coagulation force and a shorter coagulation time scale. And then we checked in the simulations and found that sheets, this is the SA as function of Dmax, and the sheets have a higher from SA than the streams and than the spheres. And basically, for the sheets, in all the cases, it will fall back in Dmax, but for the streams and spheres, only for the low over density, it will fall back or coagulate. So in this case, the coagulation sheet is larger than streams and spheres. So here I showed at tensile crossing what it looks like for different high over densities, and the higher over density have a stronger like shattering effect. But in the sheets, they all fall back. So both clumps will fall back to the plane, but they can fragment still inside the plane. This is the stream. They follow the similar line and sphere. So higher over density, stronger shattering. So finally, about metallicity, here the shattering is stronger at low metallicity because of the length is larger for the low metallicity. But they can also be separated in two groups for low metallicity, and the difference, the high final critical is lower than at the low metallicity. So in the last two slides. So here show the shattering over coagulation diagram, and it's a high final critical over a high final over the size dependent. So if your initial size is large, you have a higher high final critical, and the sphere shows the sphere, sphere shows the string. So basically, we have a model for this to explain this kind of line, and for the basically the high final critical at high metallicity is 200 and low metallicity is 40. So it's easier for low metallicity clumps to spheres to shatter or strings to shatter. So it's a summary, and so there are three requirements for the shattering, and we just explore this high final critical into explore the geometrical effects. And basically, for the sheets, they all calculate, and for streams and spheres, they are the high final critical, and for streams, high final critical is higher than the sphere. And this, for the next step, we will come back to this problem, and we'll consider the river shock and also the shear between the region and the stream.
Thank you. We have time for one brief question while Farhan sets up. Okay, make sure you catch Zhiyuan at the coffee break.